Hey everybody, Sam here from Triage 6, and as I mentioned the other day on another live broadcast, we're just in the midst of coming up with one of our guides to be posted here on the Triage 6 Facebook group, Pathways, excuse me, chewing my words here, Pathways to Sustainable Fat Loss. And I thought I would come on today just for a couple of minutes and talk about one of the first sort of highlights in the guide that we're drawing up here. About pathways to sustainable fat loss. And it's one that you might not expect when it comes to fat loss. I want to talk about the idea of triage. And the idea of triage in an exercise context or in an exercise goal related context is something that I'm borrowing from my friend, teacher, and mentor, Tom Purvis. Tom talks about triage when it comes to looking at exercise for any given individual. And the idea of triage is basically getting your priorities straight. Okay, let's get our priorities straight here. When we're talking about fat loss, when we're talking about healthy, reasonable, long-term thinking around fat loss, what is your priority? Is it actually a health thing? Are you utilizing the idea, the goal, the outcome of fat loss to try to leverage some other positive outcome in your life? What are you willing to do to achieve your fat loss related goals? And I'm not advocating for doing anything extreme. In fact, a lot of what we're going to be writing about in this guide has to do with sustainable fat loss, which means it can't be extreme because extremes are not sustainable. So when we're talking about triage, what we really want to think about is getting ourselves around, as far as I'm concerned, getting ourselves around a health-oriented, productive approach to losing unwanted body fat, or to really kind of changing how we think about the fat loss process. Because at the end of the day, without any sort of subjective judgment about looks, about body shape, if you're carrying what is objectively an excess amount of body fat, you have a much higher risk of health problems, a variety of health problems, starting probably with joint pain and then leading to a host of other problems later on. So if we think about triaging the idea of fat loss as a health measure, then we can make it sustainable. We can make it so that your efforts go towards greater health. We can make it so that if your body does end up looking in a way that ends up being more pleasing to you, that's a reflection of your health. So I wanted to just pop on here, talk about the idea of triage, and I'll include this little live, well, it won't be live when you watch it later, but I'll include it with the guide, and I'll probably come on and make a few more impromptu videos about the other high-level points that we're going to include in the guide. I hope this has been helpful, and if you do have a chance to watch this, it'll be posted on the group page for the next 30 days, and then again, it will be part of the guide series in addition to the written piece that I'm producing for it, or that we're producing for it. I hope you think about the concept of triage. I hope you think about the concept of what your priorities are when it comes to fat loss or any other exercise-related goal, to really orient yourself around a healthy, productive, and progressive approach towards achieving that goal. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.